InSTEM is a holistic mentorship and skills development program. We invite you to bring your whole selves into this virtual learning space. So before I turn it over to the experts, let's pause for a moment of mindfulness.
Hi everyone, my name is Jakita Thomas. I am an associate professor of computer science and software engineering at Auburn University. I'm also the co-founder of Pharaoh's Conclave, which is a company that prepares youth for esports careers. I have a background in computer science. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science from Spelman College, as well as a PhD in computer science from Georgia Tech. And my research interests focus on helping young people and really people that are in any type of learning situation to develop complex cognitive skills and capabilities. I have always been a very curious child. My mom used to tell me all the time that when I was a baby, like maybe 4, 5, 6 months old, that she would be talking to me and I would be staring in her mouth like I was trying to just decode every single thing that she said. And she and my father always encouraged me to be really, really curious. They didn't deter me from asking questions. They always pushed me to be really inquisitive and to go off and seek answers for myself. So I would say that laid the foundation for for me being a lifelong learner. My background as well, I think, prepared me for that. As I mentioned, my PhD is in computer science, and I have a particular specialization that's called learning sciences and technology, which is an area that focuses on how people learn, and then how tools and technologies can be designed to help promote and support deeper, more connected, integrated learning. Generally, when I need to really buckle down and focus on something, I like ideally to be in a quiet environment, and then I'll turn on jazz, particularly John Coltrane. There's something about listening to John Coltrane that just kind of puts me in a zone. So I'll play John Coltrane. I'll organize my space with all of my resources so I don't have to get up. I'll have my snacks handy, my water handy, and I'll get to it. When I'm trying to learn something, especially if it's new, I'll learn a little bit every day. I'll work at it a little bit every day. And I don't try to just cram it all in at the last minute before I need to leverage it. I'll focus on it a little bit every day, maybe 30 minutes. Sometimes I'll set a timer. I'm going to read this article for 30 minutes, or I'm going to write my thoughts about this thing I just watched or read for an hour, or I'm going to spend 15 minutes looking for resources. Sometimes you really do have to be incredibly deliberate and sort of schedule it, honestly, so that you can get things done. So the first thing that I would say if I'm talking to young people about how to leverage their resources is to first take stock of the resources that are available. As a student, I was a student who was in K through 12, very capable scholastically. High school, K through 12 was not have to study. I didn't have to do any of those things. But when I got to Spelman, I had to develop study skills, and I had to get over the fact that things just didn't naturally come to me, right? That content was difficult, it was hard, and that I had to ask for help. So I had a particular situation where I was taking a Foundations of Mathematics class, which is essentially inductive reasoning, where you do proofs and all of this. And I had never had any experience with writing proofs and doing that kind of thinking prior to. This was my sophomore year of college, first semester. And I was not doing well in this class. And that was a problem because I was on a scholarship. And I needed to maintain a certain grade point average in order to keep my scholarship. And so I remember being frustrated and frightened the first 6 weeks of class because I just didn't understand anything. And it wasn't like I wasn't poring over my text. It wasn't like I wasn't going to the TA, asking other students, leveraging all of these resources. It just was not coming together. And so one day I went to the professor's office hours and I had a very frank conversation with her. And I said, her name was Dr. Etta Faulkner. And Dr. Faulkner was actually, she is still, even though she's passed away, she is a titan in mathematics and mathematics education, especially as it relates to Black women, but even more broadly than that, a very well-known mathematician. And so I went to her office hours and I said to her, Dr. Faulkner, I am not doing well in this class. I'm struggling in this class and I need you to help me. And the plan that I have put in place for myself is that I am going to work so if you assign exercises 1, 3, 5, and 7, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I'm going to come to your office hours and I need to set up an additional day and time that you and I meet so that you can review my answers and my thinking and help me to figure out what it is that I'm missing. And she agreed to do that. And as she was working through my example and she said something about how I needed to break apart a particular step in the problem, that just made everything fall into place. When she said it, it was like a light bulb went off. And all of a sudden, I could do any problem because I understood the mental model I was supposed to have and I understood the process. And that was what was missing for me, like that connection between what I thought I was supposed to be doing and what I was actually supposed to be doing. So from that story, there are a few things that I learned that I would encourage students to do. The first is to not be afraid to ask for help. The learning environment is an environment that is designed to provide help and support. The instructor is in the space, in the environment. TAs are in the environment to provide help and support. So make use of the office hours. At the same time, you have to come in with a plan. So there's only a finite amount of time that a professor has in their office hours. And in that time, they may need to see a lot of students. And so you have to have done some preparation and done some grappling with the content before you walk in. So I didn't go into Dr. Faulkner's office and say, I just don't get it. I went into Dr. Faulkner's office and I said, I don't get it, and I don't get this specific thing, but here's my plan. But more often than not, you'll find it's not that you don't understand anything, it's this one particular thing you don't understand or that's not connecting up for you. And you can be very specific in using your time with your professor and your TAs to say, I can do this, the problem up to this point, or I understand this much, but this is what I don't understand. Can you help me to understand more about this thing? And that helps a professor or a TA to give you very specific kind of advice and to give you very specific scaffolding. So in that, leverage your resources, both the professor, the TA, the text, the internet. There's so many resources that young people have available to them now. Leverage all of your resources, but don't be afraid to ask for help. Know that that is what this period is for. It's for you to get the help to build the skills that you need. Nobody has an expectation that you're coming into the learning environment already knowing how to do it. Otherwise, why are you taking this class? But please make use of the office hours and make use of all the resources that you have. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Come in with a plan. I've had some incredible mentors over the course of my academic and professional career who have connected me to resources, shown me how to get things done, shown me how to do things more efficiently. I am a firm believer that I do not have to have firsthand experience in something in order to learn something. That I can learn from the wise counsel of others who have gone through the school of hard knocks before and learned those lessons. So I believe in having mentors, and I think it's really, really important for students to have mentors as well. Even if it's an upper class student who is in your major, who's already taken the class, who can provide you some insight into how to study for the class, how to engage with the professor, how to go about answering the homework, how to find resources. That's a useful mentor as well. If you have a professor whose, personality or approach might not mesh well with you, then, as I mentioned, find students who have taken the class before. Maybe find a professor who's at another college or university that you have a relationship with or you want to develop a relationship with. Don't limit yourself. Don't feel bound in terms of where you can get help. There's lots of help that's available for you, and so take advantage of it. But you do have to take that first step of just recognizing in yourself you need help or you need some additional support. I would encourage students to not feel like because there is difficulty that means that there's deficiency in them. That's not the case at all. You're equipped with everything you need, and you have it inside of you, and you have access to resources that give you everything that you need in order to solve problems. But again, the purpose of being in college and being college students and being in a major is that you learn the skills and the practices and the habits and the mindsets of experts within that field or professionals within that field. And that takes time and that takes practice. It's often said that to become expert at something, you have to give it 10,000 hours. And so if you think about that, that's the time studying, learning, grappling, struggling. The struggle is a part of the process, but you don't have to struggle alone and you don't have to struggle in silence. You can have resources and mentors and things on campus, even resources on campus. Even in a virtual environment, there are resources that you have access to on campus that can help you improve your study habits, that can help you identify resources, that can help you understand how to leverage your library, that can provide tutoring, that can provide a lot of different things that can help you build your capacity and build your study habits as well. Ask questions. Raise your hand and ask the question. I know, especially in STEM classes, it seems like, people are sitting in there and they've got it all figured out. They don't. The question that you have in your head is the question that at least a tenth of the class, and probably more like 50% of the class, has in their head too. So don't be afraid to ask the question. I think that would be the thing that I would say. And once I had that experience as a sophomore of having to, really humble myself honestly and say, I don't get this and I need help, things just opened up. Things became easier. I still experienced challenges and difficulties, but I knew that I had strategies and people who were willing to help.
We hope you found this useful. For more videos in this series, please visit us at nationalmetals.org/InSTEM.